Hello. How's everyone doing? And by everyone, I mean the 0 people that are on here right now. Hey guys, what's up, Shuey? Cory's in the house already. Hi, Jen. Fun fact about Jen. So Jen Hunter is Cory's wife, or I should say Cory is Jen's husband. We've all known each other for a long time, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Jen logged into one of her business accounts to make me hit 2,000 followers, and then I started. It's inevitable. We're gonna talk about it, but then I started posting about Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I've lost, I've lost followers, which honestly I don't really care about. But anyway, Jen is a real one, getting me to 2,000. But yeah, cool. Well, I'm not going to belabor this, and Cory and I will spend a little time at the front end just kind of catching up and stuff, and then we'll get to album stuff. But let me bring him in. We got Cory. Cory, are you good to go from your... Because you are here. Let's wait for Cory. Let's wait for... There he is. Dude, it's been
What's
so
up?
long. You look so different from the last time I saw you.
I'm sure. Well, here's the thing. Pardon this obnoxious beard, but it's my quarantine beard, and so I am
Nice.
not. It's coming off on Sunday.
Okay.
We're hitting our county is hitting yellow
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, and we're going on vacation on Saturday, and my sister wants to see it in person. So,
Okay. I was about to say, dude, you didn't have to wait for yellow. Your wife literally can do it if you can't, which you can.
well, no. I like I told myself I'm gonna keep this beard
I
until
got
we're
you.
good. So
So
that's
this is
kind
the
of understand.
equivalent of the quarantine Jolene videos for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I wonder is who's has started to bother which person first.
Oh, me. Here,
Probably yours.
I'll fight this on you all day.
Probably you.
Yeah.
Um, yours definitely took more work.
Mm,
Um,
that could be debated. There are some nights where I was like, we're just gonna make it up as we go.
Even that though is
That's
more
fair.
work than not doing something.
Yeah. Now here's a question. Which one of ours bothered other people first? So like, is Jen bothered by the beard, and how long did it take for her to get bothered by the beard?
No, she had a better perspective or like outlook on it than I did
Yeah.
until it got to a certain point probably where she was like, it's probably a little too bushy, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I was very hot and cold with it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. And then I was like, I hate it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it is
You're
what it
also
is.
you're also like buzz on your head, which I haven't seen in quite a while. Uh and
Yeah,
it's
this is probably the shortest it's been, but I've been
yeah.
buzzing for a while.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about hair. I do want to address address up front. Cory and I spent a couple minutes on Tuesday just kind of going back and forth. We were supposed to do this live on Tuesday at 7:30. And I texted him in the middle of what was Blackout Tuesday, and I just said, dude, we can either do it and address it up front or just back off and kind of in solidarity stay off and not, like, for me, not promote myself or my album, but instead spend the day just amplifying Black voices and Black business. And so after talking a little bit, we decided to push it back. And man, I don't know about you, but this week has been full of learning for me. And man, like, my heart is just breaking for my Black friends and the Black community. And I'm gonna just say it to my 7 viewers right now. Racism, systemic racism is real and it is wrong. And police brutality that we've seen because of that is wrong. And I personally have recommitted myself to educating myself and for speaking and not even speaking my voice, but amplifying the voices of all of my friends of color. And man, it's been a tough week, and I don't know about you, Cory, but I know I found like I've been exhausted, and I have to stop and remember that that's not even a fraction of what my friends of color, specifically my Black friends, are feeling right now. And so I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to say anything to that, or say anything more about, our decision to postpone from Tuesday to now. But
Yeah. I definitely think that was wise. And so props to you for leading through that. Yeah, it's been heavy. Definitely spent a lot of time processing. I've been running, and so like running, I'm thinking about it, and during work, I'm thinking about it, and it's just like I'm very much an internal processor, and
mm,
so I've just been thinking about it a lot, praying a lot, and
mhm.
oh my goodness, I love seeing all the great things that are coming out of this.
Mm,
And it's been heavy, but also like making sure that I'm not detaching from some of the hard things
yeah.
that a lot of hard things with this.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's been heavy, and
Yeah.
this is a conversation in our family that has started a long time ago. Um, and
Yeah.
so, but this has definitely kind of exacerbated it. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't, I mean, it's not our place, as privileged white people to talk about this anymore. But for all of my friends watching that are white, I'm just going to challenge you, um, to listen. First of all, listen. Listen to your friends of color. Listen to what's happening in the world outside of what the media is trying to blow up. Listen to the core of it, and listen, and then educate, and then use your voice, or use your platform to amplify the voices of those around you. And so that's my challenge to all of my white friends listening. If you are of color, specifically in the Black community, I want you to know that I am with you. I know Cory's with you, and we love you. And man, we this unfortunately, I feel like this is probably far from over, and that's what has been hundreds of years. But man, like, we're with you, and uh, yeah, we're with you. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, so thanks for taking the time to just address that, Cory, and talking through it.
do you mind
Um,
if I pray? Do you mind if I pray like a 2 minute prayer real quick?
I would love that. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Dear God, it's a heavy time. 2020 is a big year, and I believe that you are doing something. And so you are stirring hearts. And um, man, I just pray that you would soften the right hearts, that you would give wisdom to those that need it, and that you would just equip all of us with great respect for one another. We are all made so precious in your image, and we thank you for that. And we recognize that, um, especially right now with Black Lives. And so, uh, thank you for making us who we are. I pray that we would just come together and that we would start to experience unity like we've never experienced before. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Cory. You're out spiritualizing me over here.
um,
um,
yeah, no.
yeah, go for it. You were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not here to out spiritualize you.
Nine. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Cory spent some time, uh, and by some time I mean it seemed like so quick, because I think they called you one week and I was like, could you turn this around? And within like 5 days, you had turned around the album cover, which everyone has probably saw by now. If you didn't, it's on all of my socials.
Here we go. Watch
But
this. Watch this.
what you gonna do? Whoa! Look at that. He has it pulled up. Come on, man. You're showing me up. Yeah, so that is the work that Cory did, and he's already sent me the JPEG. So if he messed up in that moment and just like accidentally dragged something, it's
No,
okay.
I did not.
But yeah, so before we get to that though, Cory, we've known each other for a while. I think I knew Jen first, but we went to youth group together back in the day. Worked like I think maybe a couple weeks together on the janitorial staff at our old church, and then you and Jen had gone off to do other things. But I've known you for a long time, and man, do you want to just tell all the people that are going to watch this, just a little bit about how you got to where you are in graphic design, and yeah, maybe some things that you love about it too.
Yeah, so I've always loved artistically expressing myself and art class throughout school and stuff, more traditional stuff and learning how to draw cartoony stuff. That
Hmm.
was kind of like the inception. In high school, my junior year, and this is like probably no graphic designer's origin story, but here it goes. In junior year of high school, I had an engineering drawing class, which was like learning AutoCAD, which is
Hmm.
for just like drawing technical plans and schematics for like building products or whatnot. And I would just like, I would get my projects done quickly, and then I would just like almost use AutoCAD as like a graphic design software.
Hmm.
And it's so silly, but I would just like play around in there. And um, so that's what kind of started me like, oh, like this kind of creating on the computer is kind of fun. And so
Hmm.
that continued into senior year. And then I thought for a while, because I love math, and I thought I was going to maybe go into engineering. And I was like, why don't I go into something that I think I'm going to enjoy more, although it's a little bit maybe riskier and scarier. So um, I went into graphic design and have never looked back, and
Yeah.
love progressing, love keeping up with trends. It's an ever changing um, landscape, and it's
Yeah.
so fun. And especially now with um, Instagram, there's just so much inspiration to keep pushing, and so um,
Yeah.
it's been fun. And
Yeah.
I
That's
do
cool.
it for a job,
Hmm.
and I love working for LCBC and doing graphic
Hmm.
design, and um, yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I talked last week with Dee Dee about how we met. Do you want to talk? I know you've told the story a couple times, and I think it's so funny and like I know it's like semi embarrassing for you, but would you mind sharing that story? Because I think it's just so funny how far we've come.
uh,
You
I don't view this as embarrassing to me at all.
okay? Great, great. I
Um,
don't view it as embarrassing to me, so we're good.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up. I wouldn't have brought it up if you wouldn't bring it up. So here we
Look at
go.
my face right now. I'm sunburnt, so like I can't get red, right? Like this is just my
Yeah.
face right now. So go for it.
So I moved to the Hershey area right before high school. So like the summer right before I went into freshman year, uh, our family got plugged into the Hershey Free Church where Mariah and I met, and it was at youth group. We had this like out like an outside youth group, just like fun day at like a in like an open field, and a group of so I was very new to this youth group, and there's a group of people just playing softball, and I remember seeing Mariah, and I was like,
Go for
um,
it.
that person is very skilled and is doing really well. And I can't quite tell if it's a girl or a boy. And, um, and so that's my first yeah interaction with you. And we didn't even interact.
Yeah.
I just observed you watching
Hmm.
softball, and I was like, I don't know if that's a boy or
I
a girl.
think that okay. So to preface, so you were totally in the right to have that reaction because in sixth grade, I got a bowl cut because no one in the kids choir could play King Josiah. So they asked me to play King Josiah and cut my hair. So I had a bowl cut, and then the whole way through middle school, and then like a pretty much just middle school, which is probably when this was about. I had like a mullet, but like still short in the front, but it was still kind of bowl cutty. So like, man, like you've told that story a couple times to different people, and every time like I laugh because it was just like my reality at that point in life. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
you were wearing like longer athletic shorts.
oh, probably, dude. I,
Anyways.
that's never gonna change for me. Let's be real. Like, it's not gonna change. But yeah, and then actually in youth group, I believe is where you met your now wife Jen, right? You guys met in
Yeah.
youth group. Okay, and how
Hmm.
long have you guys been married? And tell us where your family's at, because you guys have had a lot go down.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have been married for 7 years.
Yeah.
We live in Mount Joy. We have two boys. One is 3 years old, and one is 4 months old. So
Mm.
that's been fun. Um, I don't know how much more you want me to talk about
It
the
doesn't matter.
craziness of this season.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Um,
do. We got 15 more minutes, so
cool. Um, so so my boys' names are Beckham, he's a 3 year old, and Harvey is the 4 month old. And so before Harvey was conceived or a thought, we started the adoption process. And so that was like 2.5 years ago. And we got matched last August. And right now, we are literally just in a standstill because of COVID. Um, we're adopting from Liberia, and so the four offices that we need to be open to adopt our daughter are closed because of COVID, and so we're kind of in a standstill. And so, um, yeah, it's kind of a crazy time for us. We have
yeah.
two boys. My wife owns a hair salon,
Hmm.
and so that's been shut down because of COVID. So we've just had kind of a lot going on, just having a new baby,
Hmm.
Jen being postpartum, and then closing down her shop and having to lead her team through that. Um, and there's
My
your dog
mom
in
just
there.
opened no, my mom just opened the door to
Oh,
throw this
nice.
picture.
That's
Okay.
amazing. Hey, shout out
Here
to
you
moms
go.
because my mom is
Dude,
also on here.
this is amazing. Your mom's on here too. Also, Jen, yes, we're obviously going to talk about hair. And this is for Gus because Gus has said Pixar didn't happen. So that's Ashley. If Ashley's still on here, I literally just sent this picture to her the other night, and then she asked for the mullet picture, and I said we're doing one at a time. So
Nice.
anyway, yeah. So and you guys you already had a dog, and now you have another dog. So you doubled your children and your dogs.
We we
Uh,
got we got our second dog in August. So we've had this dog for a while, and we have a
yeah,
fenced-in big backyard, and so it's
yeah.
easy. He's problematic, but that's just you know how that is. You know how
Yo,
that
yeah,
is.
dude. My
So,
dog is currently shut out of my room because
yeah.
he started getting crazy. But cool. Well, yeah, I just want to wrap up by talking about the project that brought brought us together. Have you done album artwork for me before? I've literally just like I have so many graphic design friends. I just kind of like pick whichever one I feel like jives with it best. So this our first one?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just texted you. Well, back up because this project was supposed to happen full band live recording
Hmm.
in May, and then venue fell through, and then COVID happened. So it was kind of everything. And I remember talking to Kyle, who joined not too long ago. He mixed and mastered it for me, but I remember asking him, like I kind of feel like I want these songs to stay like acoustic and like voice memo-y, just because of the content of them. And then we hit quarantine, and I decided to do this really quick, and so then I just sent you photos that Dee Dee and I took. If you missed our conversation with Dee Dee, it's on my Instagram live, but we had done a couple shoots, and so I just uploaded all those to a Google Drive. Said, Corey, can you turn something around? And then gave you, some insight into the project. But do you want to talk at all about what I love about the album or the album cover? There's a lot of like small details that I keep seeing. And so do you want to take us through kind of the design and some of the little like tokens that you dropped in there?
Yeah, for sure. So when you had sent me like the photos, that was like that set me up super well. And you gave me
Mm.
some of your like, this is kind of what I'm thinking. Here's a little bit of the inspiration of kind of where we kind of got that from. And so you sent me those photos, and I was like, these are great photos. Like, that's going to achieve it so well. And so my job was honestly like, I want to um, just like give these photos their proper light.
Mm.
Um, figurative light, not literal
Yeah,
light, but just
yeah,
like
gotcha.
highlight them well, use them well.
Mm,
But I also don't want to just lean into like just a photo and text and like, so my
mhm,
job was to figure out kind of a fun twist on like kind of using the photography that was provided, which was awesome. So shout out to
mm.
Dee Dee, that was awesome. And I watched you guys live and that was fun hearing your guys' story. Um, Crazy that you like traveled and then that's kind of how you met and all the way
Mhm.
in Oregon and she's from
Yeah.
around here. So anyways, um, so yeah, that was my job is kind of just highlighting the great photography that Dee Dee did. And so it was really easy when you kind of sent me the link to go through them and narrow them down and start to think about direction. Um, and so you talk, so kind of here, I'll turn this around and we'll have this open for a second. Um, I wanted to, yeah, I had this like picture in picture thought for a little while, um, with kind of just leaving this and putting a background, but I wanted to have this like dual picture perspective for depth, but then also figure out how to blend them together well.
Mm.
Um, and so I just wanted to create that feeling of the background bleeding into the foreground as well. And so there's this depth, but then there's also this like unity through the background and the foreground. And mostly that's like, so the background has this kind of like motion blur effect, and that I kind of peeked through in a couple spots, and including this like kind of background blur text that I kind of peeked through. And so I just wanted to kind of set the relationship up between the background,
Mm.
the middle ground and foreground, the middle ground being, I would say, like that blurred type. And
Mhm.
so had fun working with that. Um, I can talk about probably the little things that probably the most obvious one would be this little guy here. I just felt like it needed probably something, and so I um, kind of threw together this little mixed font LTL, which stands for the Learn to Love.
Mm.
And funny story, the first proof that I sent to Mariah, and this is I didn't even tell you all of this, but the first proof that I sent to you was wrong. It said instead of learn to love, it said learning to love. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, literally before I started, I like was reading over our conversation
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, because we talked back and forth about the title of this album and what to put on the artwork and stuff like that. And so I read over it to make sure, and I literally wrote in my notebook, learn to love. And then I started working and I saved the file and I named it Learn to Love. And so everywhere around me it
That's
said Learn to Love.
amazing.
And I just like started getting into it and then I just botched it and typed Learning to Love. So you're like, I think the title we landed on was Learn to
Yeah,
Love. And I was
you
like,
you
oh
sent me
my
the first
goodness.
draft, and I was like, wait a second, bro. So here's the thing. It's great, but
I know that was
so yeah.
amazing. Um, so And yeah, that was a lot of fun just kind of putting a little bit of like it's kind of has this like rough edge kind of feel,
Mhm.
and my little hand drawn heart. Um,
Mhm.
and the second one is that heart is kind of
Mhm.
more like pretty subtly kind of included up in the top left,
Yeah.
um, but definitely not too obvious. The other thing is I just felt like it needed, here, let me turn this off. I just felt like it was a little too smooth when I was working
Mm.
through it. And so
Yep.
I was like, how can we give it a little bit more of, because your kind of concept for this is really raw stuff and it
Yeah.
gets into kind of the gritty stuff. And so I just didn't want it to be like super smooth. And so I was thinking about how to put like some kind of a texture or some kind of a something to rough it up. And I was like looking around thinking through it and I was like, oh wait, like let me go back to Dee Dee's photography and see like
Mhm.
what kind of textures I would be able to pull out from that. And so
Mhm.
it's there's another photo of you where you're sitting on stairs and there's some kind of like graffiti around you. That's
Mhm.
one of it's on a wall next to you and one of it's on a wall behind you. And so I kind of pulled that out and roughed that up a bit and
Mhm.
put that in there.
Yeah.
And so I think that
Yeah. It
yeah,
was.
what's up?
It was funny because you had sent me this or like at least a rough draft, and I remember looking at it. I'm like, I like it. And I was like, the first thing I noticed was obviously the blur, but then the more I looked at it, I was like, wait a second, that's another photo from that set because I spent a lot of time looking at those photos and trying to figure out what's going to be the best fit. And And then, I noticed the heart, and then we talked about like the little logo. But yeah, you're removing everything.
Yeah, I'm just going like,
I love it. Yeah.
so this was the background photo, which this is part of another photo. I think you're like
Yeah,
sitting over
dude.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then yeah. Um,
Jeez.
what else was I gonna say? I was gonna say maybe one other thing.
What about the
Um,
font that I made you redo like 12 times?
oh, that's okay. That's no biggie. And I literally the first time I didn't even put your name on the artwork when I sent you a
That's
proof, and
right.
you're like,
That's right.
I'd like my name, and I'm like, yeah, totally. I just like I honestly I was like in it, and I was just like plugging away, like having fun with
Yeah.
it, and then I was like, hey, this is pretty good to like send off to her for like a first proof, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of where it went.
I mean,
Um,
there are artists that are doing it without names. So I think what I said to you is, if you want to leave it off and it feels better that way, that's fine. You're like, nah, it's going on. It's like, okay.
yeah, for sure. So it was a
But
very fun project, and
yeah.
oh, the other thing I was gonna say, like, I don't know if anyone, well, there's also like, if you haven't noticed, um, these like little glares and zippers on your jacket,
Yeah.
they have a little bit of a blur to them too, like a motion blur.
Oh, Cory. I love it. Yeah, it's just those little things. Like
Yeah,
when
it
you
all,
sent it, other than the main font that we were using for the title, I was like, man, everything is perfect, and it's like cool, but it's also like raw and edgy. Man, you're brilliant.
anyways, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, anytime anyone kind of like, I don't know, sometimes doing freelance for things that are like outside of what I like the style that I love to do. And when people tell me like, hey, like I love what I've been seeing of yours, that like gives me just a lot of freedom to be like, oh, cool. Like I can just like lean
Yeah.
into some of my strength in what I've just been doing for like hobby stuff. So
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah,
giving
and
me that freedom.
of course, yeah, and I guess it is important to note that yes, you work for LCBC, but you also started your freelance design by Hunter is where that stuff is, or
It's not a freelance. I do very little freelance. That's all just like hobby art for myself.
see, that's
That's like,
even cooler. That's even cooler then, you know?
yeah, I love it's nice just kind of creating. And the biggest reason that I started this page was there is a huge church creative community on
Mhm.
Instagram, and I just kind of wanted to be a part of it because I had been so inspired by stuff that I saw on there, and so I wanted to kind of like as cliche as it sounds, like kind of give back and start being a contributor because I'm
Yeah,
very proud of where the church creative um, just landscape has gone.
yeah,
And so I just kind of wanted to be a part of it. And it's been really cool forming some relationships on there and
yeah,
just being a part of that awesome community. So
yeah.
it's just
That's awesome.
hobby art.
Well, hobby art designed by Hunter, go check that out. And if you want to be a part of his very little freelance work, hit him up as well. You got a little bit going on with two boys and two dogs, and hopefully a daughter here soon.
Yeah.
Once everything settles down. But yeah, cool. Anything else you want to talk about, or anything else you want to say?
No, I'm excited to. I've been loving the snippets, the previews that you've been posting,
Yeah,
and excited to hear the project and see it
yeah,
all come together.
yeah. It's coming. So it's a week from tomorrow. It'll be out. If you haven't checked it out, there's lots of previews and song stories and stuff over on my page. And I'll continue up until the day that it releases. And then there will be videos accompanying those full length and stuff like that. But Cory, thank you so much. One, for working on the project, for sharing your brilliance through that, but then also here and just taking us through your process. And yeah, for telling a fun story that includes this.
Yeah, I can't believe we got that photo in here somehow.
We got it, and it's gonna go on my Instagram story because everyone deserves to hear the
Got
story
it.
related to this, and it'll be like a promo to listen to this on Instagram TV. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Yeah, last thing I would say is, man, just even like knowing you over the past couple years kind of more closely, um, you've gone through some stuff.
Mm,
And I know there's more that I don't know, and there's there's pain in your story. And so I just give you props for kind of making a project out of it. And I think like what you're trying to do is help other people that go through hard stuff be able to
mm.
process through it and give a voice to that. And I think you're doing that. So that's kind of what I'm really excited about with this
Thank you.
project. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Cory. And thanks everyone for jumping on here. Next week, I didn't ask him, but so if he's in here, this is my formal invitation to Kyle, who mixed and mastered, to jump in. But hopefully next Tuesday, he'll be on here with us. And then album time. So cool. Thanks, Cory. Have a good night, and I hope
You
to see you
too.
soon in person. All right.
Yep.
All
See
right.
ya.
See you guys.
Bye.